Today's our topic is here, atoms and molecules. As you know, first of all, we have already studied about matter. So as you know, the matter, it is composed of
atoms and molecules.
It is composed of atoms and molecules. Atoms and molecules. So as you know, the atoms and molecules, these are the smallest particle of any type of the matter. So if we are going for the history of that atoms and their molecules, the existence of atoms, it has been proposed since times we have from the 400 BC, when there were early Indians and Greek philosophers. They have explained the atoms or molecules, they are smallest particle of these matters. And for that, Indian philosopher, his name was Maharishi Kannad, and he suggested, or we can say he proposed, matter, if we are dividing the matter, we are getting smallest particle of that type of matter, which is known as indivisible particle. As such, we can say indivisible particle, and that particle is known as Parmanu. So as per we have the Maharishi Kannad, smallest particle of matter. But in the same era, in the same century, in the same time, we can say, there were also the two scientists. Their name was, one is we have the Democritus and another is Leucippus. They have also suggested that if we are dividing matter, we are getting smaller and smaller particle, and that type of particle is also known as indivisible particle, but they called that particle Democritus and Leucippus. They have suggested that matter, when we are dividing the matter, we will get smallest and smallest particle, and that type of this particle is known as atom. So they called that particle as atom from the word atmos, which means indivisible. But these considerations, these we have the laws, they have these, we can say, the concepts, these were based upon the philosophical considerations, not much experimental work which validate to these. We have the experiments till the 18th century, and then after that, the first the matter, theory of matter, or we can say about matter, his name was John Dalton, which is, we have called the theory as John Dalton's theory. So he was a British school teacher in the year 1808. He also explained atom is the smallest particle of matter. So also we can say matter is made up of smallest particles which are known as atoms. As per the Dalton, according to his theory, atom, it is, we have the structureless. It has no structure. It is a spherical, hard spherical particle. It has no structure, and it was undisputed up to the end of 19th century. Up to the end of 19th century, it was undisputed. Atom has no structure. It is without structure. It is structureless. But from the discoveries, we can say here, early, or we can say end of 19th century and early 20th century, there were some scientists, they have studied that atom, it has a complex structure. Atom can be divided into further particles. It is now divisible. So as per their concept, atom is made up of smallest particles which are known as subatomic particles. And those atomic particles, those subatomic particles, we have electrons, We have electrons.
Protons.
We have neutrons. We have protons. We have also mesons. We have also quarks. So these all particles, they are present inside the atom. But the most fundamental particles which we are having, those fundamental particles we have electrons, neutrons, and these are the main particles of the atoms, main subatomic particles of atoms. So these are also known as fundamental particles because they are the main constituents of all atoms. All atoms, if you are taking any type of the element, any type of the atom, all these atoms, they are contains these types of the particles which are known as electrons, neutrons, and protons. But from the history, if we are going again, and another scientist, his name was, he was also from the Indian philosopher, his name was Pakoda Katyayama. He went further set up that these atoms, they are present in combined form, and that type of combined form is known as molecule. So all these matters, all these types of the matters which are surrounding us, they are made up of these smallest particles which are known as atoms and molecules. So all these matters, they are made up of these molecules because molecules are combined form of atoms, and that is why we have different types of matters, because different types of matters have different properties, because these matters are made up of different types of atoms and molecules. So if we are taking property of matter, it depends upon the nature of atom, it depends upon the nature of molecules. So from the laws of chemical combination, we have laws of chemical combination, and those chemical combinations, they are experimental laws. They have been performed, they have been formulated by different types of scientists, by different types of the experimenters, and they are using number of chemical reactions, and they confirmed atom being the smallest particle of atom. And the laws of chemical combination, there are how many laws of chemical combinations are there? There are 5 laws of chemical combination. 5 laws of chemical combinations, and these laws are: first, the law of conservation of mass. Law of conservation of mass. Second one is very good, law of constant proportion. And third law, very good, law of multiple proportion. And fourth law of reciprocal proportion. And fifth law, Gay-Lussac's law of combining volumes of gases. So these are the laws of chemical combination. These laws, they are experimental laws, and they have been by performing number of experiments with the help of chemical reactions. And also these laws, chemical laws of chemical combination, or we can say it has a significance. It plays an important role for the development of Dalton's atomic theory. So all these theories, whether it is the law of conservation of mass, whether it is law of constant proportion, whether it is law of multiple proportion, whether it is we have the law of reciprocal proportion, whether it is Gay-Lussac's law of combining volumes, all they state that atom is the smallest particle of matter. So from the laws, we will discuss little about this law of conservation of mass. As you know, law of conservation of mass, this law has been proposed by His name was Antony Lavoisier in 1789. Law of conservation of mass has been proposed by Antony Lavoisier in 1789. And what he states, according to his statement, what? Matter neither creates nor destroyed in any physical or chemical change. In any chemical or physical process, or we can say in any physical or chemical change. So mass of reactants and mass of product, that remains same, always remains same, whether we are taking any type of the reaction. That is, we have the chemical reaction. That is, we have chemical reactions. So from the reactions we have different number of reactions. हमने पढ़े हैं बहुत सारे reactions हमने पढ़े हैं chemical reactions में. So reactants, when they are reactive with each other and then they are forming products, then mass of the products and mass of reactants remains constant. That means remains conserved as such. So it is the law of conservation of mass, and already we have explained the chemical reaction. Like we have calcium carbonate, CaCO3. When we are heating this type of the compound, it gives us calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. If you are taking the mass of this, mass of calcium carbonate, it is equal to mass of calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So law, it has been verified that mass remains conserved. And in this all these reactions, we have the solids, we have the liquids, or we have the gases. Air, even we can say air is also a part of the chemical reaction. So it was about atoms and molecules. It was just an introduction about atoms and molecules.